phenomena of these books. And these books typically have titles like The Truth About Islam, Islam Unveiled, The Trouble with Islam, What Went Wrong, Islam Exposed, politically incorrect Islam. There's even one called Politically Incorrect Guide to the Crusade, etc., etc. Everything, the idea of stripping Islam naked. And you know, I always joke that one of these days I expect to read a title, because they're eventually going to run out, of Islam Totally Nude. You know, it just makes sense. Well, but the real issue is, if you know the publishing market, and you know how publishers work and how booksellers work, is not the fact that there are a lot of people who want to write these books, but the fact that there are a lot of people who want to write these books, all of them practically at the same time, and all of them find publishers practically at the same time, and all of them find readers practically at the same time. What that translates to is a problem. Because in the publishing market, if, for instance, if I want to write a book about jihad, an academic work, or let's leave jihad, let's say a book about Islam and the rights of women, and I'm not going to have, you know, the idea of Islam exposed, Islam in the nude, or anything like that. No, I have a book that says Islam and the rights of women. What publishers ask you is, how many books are out there about this theme that are still in print? And then they do research to see how many of books on that same theme are still in circulation. In circulation means on bookshelves. And if there are more than a couple of titles, even for a very hot topic, they won't publish. Now, but here, it was, the publishing logic went haywire. It didn't matter. Publishers were basically saying, give it to me. You know, we would be able to sell it. We have buyers. We need people, we have people who want to read about this. Now, interestingly, at the same time, books written such as by Abdul Rauf or Sayyid Hussein Nasr or the guy who wrote Why They Don't Hate Us, it was Abdul Rauf, I think, actually wrote that. Anyway, people such as Esposito, Why Islam Is Not a Threat, their sales were sickly. The sales of these books were sickly. You couldn't get more than 2 books out within a span of 2 years. You couldn't get more than 2 books out on why Islam is not a threat. But within the span of the same 2 years, they were over by mainstream publishers. I'm not talking about Christian, specialized Christian presses, evangelical presses. I'm not talking about hyper-technical academic presses which would not publish this stuff anyway. I'm talking about mainstream presses. In a span of the same 2 years, you could publish, and in fact it was published, 50-something books about why Islam is a threat. The disparity is enormous between 2 books within 2 years or so, and 50 books within 2 years that say Islam is a threat, and more people want to buy it. So I've got as an important side point, those individuals that I would often hear individuals say, usually Muslims who just not well informed about the picture, say, after 9/11 there was such a huge interest in Islam, and there was subhanallah, there was a positive windfall, is that people became so interested in Islam. Frankly, you don't know what they're talking about. You don't have a clue. the jump in sales after 9/11 was of the genre that I'm talking about, the Islam as a threat genre, not let's learn about Islam, let's all be nice and get our facts straight.